Trey cleared his throat. He supposed the boot planners were creative, but he wasn't there to sightsee or in the market for flowers and frou-frou things. He was there to do something about his poor vehicle. Although before he could do anything about that, he had to figure out where the owner was hiding. Switching the mirror to his left hand, he scratched the back of his head. There was very little in the way of designated walking paths. He couldn't proceed forward unless he squeezed between a freestanding shelving unit and a massive refrigerator. Someone should be stationed at the entry handing customers a road map so they can maneuver through this place. He grumbled under his breath. Well, he couldn't just stand there becoming more annoyed by the moment. He needed to make a decision on which way to go and roll with it. Glancing left and not seeing a good path, he took a right down a trail of some sort. Hello? Nothing resembled a customer service desk or point of sale. Is anyone here?
I'll be right with you.
Turning in the direction of the small, muffled voice, he strolled past a bunch of colorful, helium-filled latex balloons, tied off to a vivid red air tank. They swayed in the breeze and bounced against each other, making a hollow, drum-like bopping sound as he passed. A few more steps and he made another turn, running into another large impediment, a tall riser filled with greeting cards. He shook his head. Sideways was the only way to continue if he didn't want to backtrack. As soon as he sidestepped the stand, he felt like throwing a victory fist in the air with a whoop. Not too far in front of him was a counter with a cash register, and beside that, an open door. He headed toward the register, only to stop short when a woman burst through the doorway and into the room like an out-of-control whirling dervish. Legs kicked, arms flailed, long strawberry blonde hair flew around her face. For such a petite person, she made a huge entrance, then took one mother of a wipeout. Oh, shit! He dropped the mangled mirror, leapt over a potted plant, zigzagged through a gauntlet of tulips, and ducked beneath the hanging ferns to get to her. She'd hit her head on a display case and sat half-slumped on the floor tiles. "Ma'am, are you okay?" Silence greeted him. Trey bent down beside her unmoving frame. "Ma'am?" She mumbled, something unintelligible. Swiping hair from her cheek, he noticed green glitter speckled her peaches and cream complexion. "Are you hurt?" She fidgeted, then lifted her hand in a weak gesture, which Trey interpreted to mean, "hang on." A second or two passed before she straightened her shoulders. Relief swept over him. "Try not to move around too quickly." He attempted to study what he could of her face. Her hair still partly obscured her features, but he was able to tell her eyes were closed. When she brought her knees to her chest, wrapping her slender arms around her legs and bowing her head, he couldn't get over how tiny she seemed. "Should I call an ambulance?" She shook her head slowly.
I need a minute. It feels like a jackhammer operator is running amok, trying to dislodge my brain.
Trey chuckled at her colorful explanation. "I'm sure it does. You took a pretty bad fall." If you don't think a trip to the ER is in order, is there someone I can call for you?"
No.
He looked around, knowing the answer before he'd asked the question. "Is anyone else here?" She peeked at him with big jewel-green eyes through silky red-blonde strands of hair. He figured she was sizing him up, since she hesitated to answer him as quickly as before. He smiled in an attempt to put her at ease. "I'm just concerned about a concussion. With the tumble you took, some rest will be in order. Someone should hang out with you to make sure you don't fall asleep."
My delivery guy will be back soon.
"Can he run the store so you can go home?" An expression of pure horror overtook her features.
God, no. I'll be fine.
A good-sized goose egg was taking shape in the middle of her forehead. He pointed. "You are going to need some ice for that." She sat up straight, touching the lump, and winced.
Ouch.
Ouch indeed. A pang of sympathy pain made him itch to rub his own head. "We probably better find you a more comfortable spot to sit and relax. That is, if you think you can get up."
I can.
She struggled for a moment, before he couldn't take watching any longer. Political correctness and all, hail the strong, independent woman be damned. Here, let me help you. Wrapping his arm around her waist, he lifted her. She gave him her weight without hesitation. Once she was on her feet, he started to release his hold until she swayed. When he scooped her into his arms, she gasped. His me Tarzan, you Jane move must have startled her, but he didn't care. Conceivably, it was the vulnerability of her, or the fact that she smelled like a mixture of things that spoke to him on a level he couldn't shake. Either way, he wouldn't leave until he knew she was going to be okay. She needs me. Trey blinked at the realization he actually wanted to be her hero, something he wasn't or had never wanted to be prior to her.